what? I got a fever. And the only prescription is more.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go, baby. Oh, yeah. Jack, you said it best, man. You are so right. We here. Let's go, baby. This is genuinely one of my favorite days of being a football fan. It's the first day of free agency. Technically not, but I mean, come on, let's be real. It is, right? Deals have already been reached. We've already got new homes for some of these players. There's just so much to talk about. We've also had a few big blockbuster trades happen in the past week, too. Just so, one of the best times of the offseason, truly. There's just so much to talk about. I'm excited. Hope you guys are fired up as well. Appreciate all of you guys tuning in. And as always, you know the drill. Feel free to say hello if you're in here in chat. What's up, mile marker, Jack, Caden, Joao? How have y'all been doing? Let's go, baby. Jack saying it's been a pretty tough day to be a Hawks fan. Yeah, I was seeing your Instagram stories earlier. It is, man, right? You know, you were kind of talking about this a little bit last week. You can't always bring everyone back. It's no fun seeing some of these guys leave. But hey, I think if you at least want like a little bit of a consolation prize, I believe you were saying last week out of like the big Seahawks free agents that we talked about, you were hoping that they're just going to be able to keep one of them. For what it's worth, Shaheed is back. And so is Job. At least you got two of the guys. I know you really wanted Kobe Bryant back. Obviously, he's not there. Losing K9 is tough, but at least like with some of those losses, you can kind of envision replacements. Okada might be, stepping up in lieu of Kobe Bryant now, and that secondary is pretty deep. But, Kobe is a dog. I get why it might be tough to lose him. But, yeah. At least you got Shaheed, though. I was a little surprised about that, to be honest. I thought Shaheed was going to go somewhere else. That is pretty nice that you bring him back. You not only get that vertical aspect in the passing game, but just what he offers as a return man, too. You can get up the ball in space, even mix in an end around here and there. And he was just such a good fit on that offense. He complements JSN so well. So that's big. You got to be pretty fired up about that, I imagine, right? I was honestly like very surprised that they were able to bring back Rashid Shaheed. But what are you guys thinking? And I know we got Joao in here too, another Seahawks fan. He was expecting this. Glad that some of them aren't. I'm glad we aren't involved in some of the overpays. Yeah, I mean, the market is always a little robust, right? Rashid Shaheed really wanted to stay from the start. Well, there you go. That's good. I mean, it's not a bad deal either, honestly. So you're surprised the Raiders didn't pay him? Him on the Raiders would have made sense. Mile marker saying tamper time. I gotta say, we'll get to this in a little bit because there's just so much I want to talk about. There is a signing that your Lions made today that actually kind of got me fired up. Really, really like the move. That's what I'll say. I think the Lions got a huge bargain in free agency today. They got one of the more underrated players in the class, and for a really good deal, especially compared to the market at his position. I think the Lions did some really good business today. We'll get to that in a little bit, but I wanted to let you know. Brad Holmes, he might have done it again. There you go. You're right on cue. You're saying in chat you wanted a center first and got one. Let's just say I really like the center that you got. And I also like that he's got a little bit of versatility. He's got experience playing guard in the past too, with just all the youth and experience in that interior. Getting in a vet, but like a younger vet, but someone who played probably the best ball of his life last year and can play all these different roles and step in where he needs to. Yeah, I love that. He fits Detroit's DNA really well too, what they want to do on offense. He's a dog in the run game. I mean, we're talking about it. I love the Cade Mays signing so much. That's a great move. He was awesome for the Panthers last year. I would have loved Carolina to keep him and just keep that line together. But again, you can't keep everyone, right? But yeah, that Cade Mays deal. I was like, you know what? That was nice. Caden hit me with the ooh woo, and he's purposely been avoiding news. Well, I love it. That's awesome. Yeah, I actually love hearing that. That means that you're going to be hearing a lot of this stuff here first, and that's awesome, man. That's like genuinely very flattering. I love hearing that. Let's go. In Shaheed's intro presser, he said he wanted to sign long term. Yeah, yeah. I mean, hey, well, there you go. Able to capitalize on that, right? And, hoisting Lombardi, probably not a bad negotiating tactic either. Raiders had to be the big winners today. They signed like 8 people. They did sign some people. I think some of the deals I liked a little more than some of the others. There's a few that I really liked. I was like, oh, that makes sense. Let's go. That's great. And some of them was like, huh. Not the biggest fan of just like the player. We can get into that in a little bit. I mean, genuinely, like there's so many different angles that I can attack this. I do think once we jump in a few minutes, what I'm probably going to do is we're going to start by just like going through the free agency 101, hitting some of the big signings from today, right? Looking at some of the top players that are off the market, maybe some of the top guys left, maybe forecasting where they might go. And then we can get into some of the more sicko stuff and maybe highlight a few teams, maybe some winners and losers of day one so far. But man, oh man, I'm just beaming right now. I'm so happy. But there's a few moves that I really liked though, and here's what I'll say. Don't sell your Ashton Genty stocks because I like what they're cooking in the run game. That's what I'll say. That's what I'll say at least. What's up, Parker? Appreciate you tuning in. Let's go. Good to have you back in here. Free agency, man. Hey, no better time to be a football fan in March, right? I mean, this and the draft is what we've got until September. So we gotta enjoy this while we can. They did have a lot of money to spend, though, the Raiders, right? I mean, there is a cap floor. You have to spend it somewhere. That's fair. That's fair. They have that fresh rookie QB contract, too. I think I like a lot of the moves on offense more than defense. There's a few moves on defense. It's like, okay. The offensive moves, though, I'm all in. I love the Linderbaum move, obviously. And then one guy kind of shouted out last week as maybe a sneaky value add. Jalen Nailor, great signing. I think he's going to be awesome in that offense. Especially with Mendoza, too. He's not quite the big body guy like Dobbs that I would have liked, but he is that guy that can win down the sideline, that deep threat, the one-on-one type of guy. Nailor really, really stepped up last year for the Vikings. I thought he really started to deliver on some of his talent. He's obviously a very speedy guy, too, hence the nickname. That is a move that I like a lot. And then Linderbaum is going to rock so hard in this Clint Kubiak offense, man. He's the ideal Kubiak center with just how athletic he is. You get him out in space. Maybe, just maybe, Ashton Genty will have some help now. And Nailor kind of, he also makes things less tight on offense. I was talking about with, like, you got Bowers there, and that's nice, but, like, not a lot necessarily on the outside. You got Besh there, but, again, more of a slot guy. So I like Nailor essentially being like a better Trey Tucker. I like that a lot. It's Kenny McIntosh season. Yeah, maybe. We'll see. I mean, the Seahawks, maybe they'll cook something up in the draft. There's still a few guys out there. Maybe you get like a sneaky Keaton Mitchell signing or something, but there's options. There's options at running back, and you still got Charbonnet, so that's nice too. But all right. Let's get into it. We're going to pull up the good old free agency 101. Let's see. Okay, sweet. We actually got it working this time, unlike last week. We'll hit some of these big signings here, right? I mean, man, a lot of the top guys already inking deals. I mean, that's just usually how it happens, right? Like, before the league year even starts, it's just so funny how, like, things have changed now. Wednesday is when free agency starts, right? But yet here we are. Wow, number 1 is signed. Number 2 is signed. Number 3 is signed. Number 5 is signed. Like, there's a lot to talk about. Oh, dude, I'm stupid. You're right. Charbonnet got hurt. That is true. Yeah, I guess you really do. You really do have to figure out running back then. I completely forgot about him getting hurt. Yeah. Robinson and Holani rotation. Yeah, it's not great, but also, well, I was just saying, Clint can cook, but he's not there anymore either, but the line is better, and the defense rocks. So a lot of tough questions to answer, but this is only day 1. You've got the draft too, right? But it's nice to get these instant reactions. But all right, let's just get into this. The biggest news probably so far, and again, all respect to Greg Rosenthal, who does great work, but the number 1 free agent of the class, I guess, and I think Ian Rappaport had a tweet about it too. It was like, the top player is off the market. It's like, okay, all right, whatever. We had that conversation last week. But Malik Willis to the Miami Dolphins. Kind of a surprise for me, honestly. This was not my first pick, not my first guess, and not my favorite fit. It's not a bad fit by any means. But the biggest thing that stands out to me with this 3 years, 67.5 million, 45 million fully guaranteed, significantly lower than what some of the rumblings were, right? A lot of reports saying he was going to get at least 30 million, maybe even 35 million a year. Comes in well below that. And when you really crunch the numbers, as far as non-rookie contract quarterbacks go, this is honestly one of the cheaper deals out there. So the contract, I agree with you, Jack. Honestly, the contract is not that bad. It was cheaper than I thought it would be. And I think in a vacuum now, financially, it makes a little bit more sense. It's like, okay, screw it. Like, let's see what he can do. We're not breaking the bank necessarily. Maybe a run game with him and Devon Achane is fun. Sure. Okay, right? The situation still isn't great, though. I mean, you've got questions at receiver. You've got questions across the offensive line. You have a new offensive coordinator coming in. Mike McDaniel's not there anymore. Now you've got not Clint Kubiak, Bobby Slowick running the show, right? I still think, like, man, I would have loved the Falcons to get him. I think that would have maybe made the most sense. And, they got another quarterback that we'll talk about, but that would have been nice. I think the Arizona Cardinals maybe would have made just a little bit more sense for timeline-wise and scheme fit-wise and just, like, vibes, maybe even the New York Jets. So the Dolphins, it's not my favorite landing spot, but all things considered, the money isn't terrible. I will be completely honest, though, just to keep it a buck. I still just, like, how good is he really? I mean, come on. We can pull up his stats, and it's like, wow, man, like, he completed 85% of his passes last year, right? But as some of you might have seen online, Kurt Warner put out a very nice tweet that I think articulated something that I was trying to get at a little bit last week, and he maybe put a little bit more eloquent than me. And he also put, like, actual numbers behind this too. But, I mean, come on. Some of these numbers are a little bit misleading. You have to watch, like, the offense that Green Bay was running when he came in there, right? Look, more credit to him. This is good coaching. This isn't necessarily, like, the worst thing ever. But they were running, like, a pretty Mickey Mouse, Looney Tunes type of offense. A lot of easy stuff. Not asking him to make a lot of difficult throws. And Kurt Warner is even saying, like, if you look at, like, true dropbacks where it's, like, no screens, no play action, and, like, filtering out just, like, the easy stuff, right? It's subjective, but still, like, a lot of people use these kind of filters. Malik Willis had, like, 30 real dropbacks with the Packers, Like, it was not necessarily... And that's between, like, these 2 years, like, because he had 35 attempts this past season, like... Yeah, it is just a lot of easy stuff. So you wonder, like, okay, are you going to be able to run that offense for a full season? I don't know. Maybe. So, it's all right. It could be a lot worse. Honestly, I was prepared to be, like, a little bit more upset about whatever hypothetical contract Malik Willis would have signed. I was prepared to, like, go off a little bit more. It's fine. If I had to give it a grade, I'd give it, like, a B-. It's not terrible. But I would have loved to see him with the Falcons. I think that would have just made so much sense. You kind of have that easy pivot point with Penix potentially coming back. Schematically, I think he'd be an awesome fit with Bijan there. You can run a lot of stuff out of the pistol. You can chuck it downfield to London and Pitts, but what can you do? Now you got Tua instead, which I gotta say. Yeah, I'll tell that story when we get to Tua, but yeah. Sports Gambler just joined. Appreciate you tuning in. Asking, am I crazy for thinking that Jeremiah Love should fall in the draft, and if he was available for the Vikings, he should be drafted? Oh my gosh, absolutely. Look, if Jeremiah Love is there at 18, there's no question the Minnesota Vikings should take him, right? I think Jeremiah Love is a phenomenal running back prospect. I think he's honestly up there with Genty for me from last year, and I could, like, talk myself into him being a little bit better than Genty as a prospect. He's so good as a receiver. He's such a big home run hitter. And he's a good downhill runner, too. I mean, he runs with violence. He can run between the tackles. He is a phenomenal player. Pretty good in pass protection, too. If he's there at 18, no question. I mean, I think just removing positional value, he is for sure probably one of the 5 best players in the draft. And it would fill a need for the Vikings, too. I think a Jeremiah Love, Jordan Mason backfield would rock. That would be the best I've felt about a Vikings backfield in a probably since like we had Adrian Peterson, to be honest with you. So yeah, I'm curious to see if he does fall, just because some of the teams picking higher have signed some backs today. You know, the running back market might indicate that either Love is going way, way higher than we think, and like he could go to the Giants at 5, or maybe he's going to fall a little bit because some of the teams that could have taken a running back high in the draft instead opted to sign a guy in free agency. Yeah, maybe the Commanders for Love. Dude, they've got bigger fish to fry. I don't know, man. Like, it'd be fun, though. A Jeremiah Love, Jaden Daniels run game would be fun. There's no doubt about that. And they're trying to pivot to more under center stuff. Schematically, it checks out a little bit. But, I mean, we know my Commander's thoughts, right? I think they've got bigger fish to fry, honestly. But yeah, Caden saying Malik Willis the GOAT, A.J. Dillon RB1 season. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, A.J. Dillon, dude. I was high on him for a minute. I used to believe in him. Maybe one day that belief will pay off. I don't know. But Jack thinks that Phillips is getting way too much money. Talking about Jalen Phillips. Well, by golly, he's up next. He's up next. You're going to say my middle name if I continue? Benjamin. Now I have the power. Benjamin. Mekhi Lemon is exactly who they need, especially if they sign Brandon Ayuk. Talking about the Commanders, maybe? Dude, I've been starting to dive into some more of these prospects. Maybe this isn't a hot take because he's gonna go high, but Mekhi Lemon, he's a hooper. He can play. He should go pretty high. I'm feeling pretty good about Mekhi Lemon. Carnell Tate's nice too. Good receiver class. But no tokens. No! My reinforcement. No! Doesn't make a lot of sense from Malik's point of view. Miami is a dead end. Yeah, I guess the biggest selling point is he's got that Green Bay connection, right? Hafley is there. Eric something. He's got like 2 last names. He's there. John Eric Sullivan, I think that's his name. So there's like the Green Bay connection. Clearly they're familiar with the guy. They probably made a pretty good pitch to him. And I mean, hey, this is a life-changing moment for Malik Willis, right? He gets his chance to be a starter. He gets life-changing money. You got to jump on it, right? You can't necessarily, like, if you're Malik, you can't turn your nose up at the Dolphins if they made the most convincing pitch and if they offered the most money. But I would have loved to see him in the A, though. That would have been such a good fit. Jack likes 2 on the Falcons. I mean, it's not terrible. Like, it could have been worse. It's not terrible, you know. For the vet men, too, you get that nice bargain. Not terrible. Denver Broncos have inquired about Romeo Doubs. Ooh, interesting. I like Doubs a lot. Mixed feelings. I mean, I feel like him and Cortland Sutton are kind of redundant, though. No? Like, I feel like there's too much overlap between the types of players there. I mean, am I a little bummed that he's probably not going to the Raiders, and that was like my dream prediction? Yeah, but someone's going to get a good player in Doubs, though. I do like Romeo Doubs. Kind of full circle, you know. We had that Romeo Doubs bit from way back in the day, if you remember the OG streams. But Doubs stays on the pack. I mean, hey, maybe. They've got the cap space. They also made an interesting cut earlier today, too. But, all right, let's get into this next one. Number 2 free agent, Jalen Phillips. He got the bag, as Jack was alluding to. Going to, hey, keep pounding, baby. Going to the Carolina Panthers. Jack was saying maybe thinking that Phillips got way too much money. It's a very, very hefty price. 4 years, $120 million. Puts him at, I believe, the 8th highest paid edge in the NFL. It is a lot of money. There is no denying that. However, and I promise I'm not just saying this because he's going to the mighty Panthers. I actually really don't hate this contract. Is it like maybe a slight overpay? Sure. He's also a phenomenal player. He really is like a borderline top 10 edge. I mean, man, especially when he got to Philly last year, he just started balling out. And he's always been a baller with the Dolphins too. Really the biggest concern that you can have with Jalen Phillips, and it's a valid one, is can he stay on the field? Because he has a very extensive injury history in the NFL and in college. That's fair to worry about, right? That is the biggest risk that comes with this deal. But I think and this is a big if, but if you knew like, hey, we're going to get like at least 14 games out of him every season or something like that, I think then he's worth every penny. He is so good playing off the edge. He's a pocket pusher. He's developed a nice bag of moves to win around the edge too. He can play the run really well. There's a lot of schematic overlap between Ejiro Avero's defense and Vic Fangio's defense. Phillips has a lot of familiarity with the system, playing with Fangio in Miami and in Philly. He's talked about how much he loves playing in that style of defense, just purely isolated as like a wide nine, just being able to just loop around the edge, but he can also set the edge in the run game. He can put his hand in the dirt. He can get in a 2-point stance. He's awesome. I mean, he was like 8th in the NFL in pressures last season. He's a really good player. He's just got to stay healthy. And if you're Carolina, I think this is a risk that you have to take. I mean, if Phillips is out there, all of a sudden this defensive line is looking really good. You finally have that bona fide edge that you feel great about. You got some of those younger guys that you got in the draft last year too. You've got Derek Brown and Tershawn Wharton and Bobby Brown with some beef up the middle. I don't know. I actually kind of like this deal. It's a lot of money, and we'll get to another edge who got paid just down the list here in a little bit. I think if you compare the two contracts, the Phillips deal is substantially better than this one. So I actually feel pretty good about this. I like the Jaelan Phillips deal a lot, even though, yeah, like $30 million per is a lot. Like that is a crazy amount of money. The cap is always going up, and it's a good player. And hey, the Panthers have heart. The Panthers have heart in conclusion, but Patriots have only gotten Jones, the edge rusher from Baltimore. Yeah, it's been kind of a quiet offseason for him so far, right? I think they were an obvious team to link with Alec Pierce, and then Pierce ended up staying in Indy. And so now it's like, crap, like, what's their plan going to be at receiver? They also traded away Garrett Bradbury this past week, which was kind of an interesting move, too. I mean, I get it. Makes sense in a way, Probably kick Jared Wilson inside the center now. But, yeah, not a lot of moves from New England so far. Again, it's only day one. We'll see, right? But I think if you're the Patriots, you got to be bummed. They were the team that probably made the most sense for Alec Pierce, and they missed out on him. So that's tough. We got Jack Galati back in here as well. Appreciate you tuning in, Jack. Saying Adam Troutman, generational bag chaser. Did Adam Troutman get signed? Hold on. I've been trying to stay tapped in with a lot of these signings, even the not as big ones. 3-year contract for Adam Troutman. I mean, hey, he's got to stay with Sean Payton forever, right? 3 years, $17 million. That is kind of a lot. That is kind of a lot. But you know what? He's Sean Payton's guy, right? And that's got to count for something. That is a lot for Adam Troutman, though. Oh my gosh. It's good when the thumbnail says, WTF, are we doing it? 21 hours ago, Broncos fans not thrilled with Adam Troutman contract. I mean, he's not like an offensively bad player, but doing that and then cutting Dre Greenlaw a day later, that is kind of tough. Welcome back, Sebastian. Good to have you back in here, man. Let's go. Free agents when expensive agents walk into the room. Nice one. Well played, sir. Well played. Hey, I was alluding to it earlier, talking about its mile marker, but I got to say, you know what? Here's a little love for the mighty Detroit Lions. I love the Cade Mays signing. I really do. I think that's going to fix a lot along the offensive line. Super underrated player. And to get him for half the price of Tyler Biadasz, who I think is a similar caliber of player, great move for Detroit. That's honestly probably one of my favorite signings of free agency so far. Cade Mays to the Lions. I love that. Draymond Jones was the worst free agent signing the Seahawks made of the 2020s. Yeah. I mean, I have to sit and think. Well, I guess Jamal Adams was a trade. You'd probably know better than I would. That's for sure. Yeah. Yeah, Monty is tough, dude. I was talking about that last week. That is a bummer to lose Monty. I have to imagine that the Lions are going to have some sort of other plan at running back. And one take that I was actually workshopping in my head before he signed with the Cardinals today, I was like, Low-key Tyler Algier would rock on the Lions. Him and Gibbs would be such a sick backfield, but I get if the Lions want to invest elsewhere and then just like take a guy day 2 or day 3 in the draft or something like that. But I do think you got to get another guy in there. But Parker saying Kobe Bryant rose from the dead to sign with the Bears. That's crazy. Good signing for the Bears, though. I do like the Kobe Bryant move. Let's get into Linderbaum now. Jack was saying earlier, Linderbaum signing A+++++. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it is, dude. Look, and again, we're talking about a market resetting contract here. Maybe you can, like, wrinkle your eyebrow at, like, wow, Tyler Linderbaum is getting 10 more million per year than, like, any other center ever. And maybe he's not, like, quite as good as Creed Humphrey. But also, he is a top-level player at what I think is a very important position, which is hard to find these days, honestly. You know, getting a good center means a lot. If you could just have, like, an A- center that you never have to worry about, oh, who's our center going to be every season? I also, again, love the trope pairing a veteran center with a young quarterback. Love that. And just just fits like a glove in this Clint Kubiak offense, right? We know exactly how he's going to be used. He's a phenomenal athlete. They're going to get him out in space. He kicks tail in the run game. Maybe not like an A+ pass protector, but you live with that. Ashton Genty might eat in this offense next year. I'm really starting to like buy into Genty taking a big leap in year 2 with Kubiak there, shoring up the offensive line a little bit. Linderbaum is going to rock. No, this is an awesome signing. I think it was you, Jack, that was even like floating that out last week. Like, what about the Raiders for Linderbaum? Maybe not quite the dream home run fit that the Chargers would have been, but he's in the AFC West, and it's another team that we talked about. So I like that. I like that a lot. Alec Pierce is up next. Oh, I've been waiting to talk about this one. Alec Pierce. Caden saying, didn't Pierce say he was going to wait until he knew who the QB was to sign? Who could be better than May on the Colts? Dude, imagine if Drake May got traded to the Colts, or if he went to the Falcons with Nico Collins and Ladd McConkey. Oh, man. Get Bijan and Rock Oh, Bijan for Rock Ya-Sin. Nah, you can't give up Rock Ya-Sin for Bijan. Jack is saying, maybe a hot take, but the Alec Pierce signing is one of the worst that I have ever seen. Well, let's talk about it. Here's a fun fact. Here's a fun piece of trivia for you. The contract that Alec Pierce just signed, back with the Colts, 4 years, $114 million. Max value of $116, $84 million guaranteed. This is the largest contract for a free agent wide receiver in NFL history. Now, again, this isn't counting like Jefferson getting extended by the same team or anything like that. But as far as a wide receiver on the open market, this is the biggest payday one has ever gotten. And some of that, sure, you can account for inflation. Dude, I'm sorry. Look, he's not a bad player. He's not. But like I was saying last week, I'm sorry. He is not the 5th best player in this class. I said tall Deshaun Jackson, right? Tall Deshaun Jackson, he's like a tall Ted Ginn. And that's not a bad thing. He's a phenomenal deep threat. He can win downfield. He had like 47 catches last year. Look, he's a one-trick pony, and it's a very good trick. And maybe with Pittman gone, like his catches will go up. And catches is just one stat, and that's an arbitrary number, this and that, whatever. Dude, I'm sorry. There's a lot of money for a guy who, like, I'm sorry, I'm not sure that he's better than Michael Pittman. I just don't know. And they made an effort to get rid of Pittman, and they're keeping Pierce. And it's like, I might have done that the other way around, to be completely honest with you. Look, it's not great, though. I don't love this signing. It's better than, like, the Titans overpaying for him, right? Which was, like, something I totally could have seen. Like, the Titans paying him, like, $30 million or something like that. That's kind of what I had in my mind. I'm a little surprised that Pierce is back with the Colts. I think the landing spot that I would have felt best about, and, like, a team overpaying that I would have at least felt decent about, would have been the Patriots, just because, like, okay, they're a good team. They feel like maybe they're a few pieces away. He fits well with Drake May, sure, right? No, but you're right, Caden. I mean, that's kind of my reaction. Like, And again, the whole narrative, really ever since like October of this year, is like, man, he's going to get paid more than you think. He's going to get paid more than you think. I love doing this sometimes. I love like almost like pivoting and zigging when others zag, and I love being the hipster's hipster because a lot of football hipsters will tell you, like, nah, bro, you don't get it. Alec Pierce is really good. Look, he had 1,000 yards, right? Again, he's not bad, but it's like he's not that good. Look, he's not that. He's like probably like the 31st best receiver in the NFL, and that's cool and that's good. And there's certainly something to be said about having an elite deep threat on your team. I mean, son, if they pay Daniel Jones, like how much money is getting tied up into those two guys, you know? Like I don't know, man. It's not my favorite deal. It could have been worse. And yeah, yards per catch is cool, right? It is. You know what? Ted Ginn has had some nice seasons too. I'm being mean. He's not a bad player, but come on. He went from a crazy bargain being on that rookie contract as like a third round pick to now it's like this is probably going to like hurt the team in a few years. I don't know, man. The 32nd best receiver in the league would be pissed to hear me say that. Come at me. Come at me. You know what? I hope they're watching. Should you Venmo Linderbaum for some money to get money for food? Oh, expensive Thai Express pad Thai. Okay. You know, this is going to be very uncultured of me. I've never had pad Thai before. I had Thai food for the first time this past summer. Christine and I went to Nam Thai, delicious Thai restaurant in Atlanta. I've not had pad Thai though, and I might need to change that. I'm still culturing myself a little bit, right? I grew up in North Dakota. That's my excuse, but I would love to try some pad Thai. I've heard it's phenomenal. Sports gamblers saying Jermaine Illuminor is also such an underrated sign by the Giants. I know, dude. He has gotten better and better every season. And quietly, man, that Giants line was honestly pretty good last year. I love that they got him back. I want them to keep that line together. That was one of the best parts of the team. Dare I say the Giants are kind of having a nice run so far in the offseason. You know. We got Eagle Eyes in here as well. Thanks for tuning in, man. Good to have you in here as always. 4 for 114 is insane. Yeah. I mean, he's making more than Nico Collins. I'm sorry. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. Very Christian Kirk-like contract. Yeah. And even like, I guess you could argue like the Christian Kirk deal kind of worked out for the Jaguars because they got a few good seasons out of him. But then a few years later, they kind of had to move on from him because it's like, we can't afford to pay this guy anymore, you know? I don't know, man. I don't know. But he is 26. Career year. Maybe he gets a little better, especially with Pittman out of the picture. I don't know. Here's one thing I want to like backdoor, though, and kind of tie into what Caden was talking about earlier. And maybe we can have more of an extensive conversation about this player once we get to the guys that are still out there. But I do wonder, would the Colts be comfortable paying that much to Alec Pierce and simultaneously paying a decent amount of money to Daniel Jones? To kind of go Brian Windhorst here, is a very interesting deal that the Colts were so willing to shell out this amount of money when their incumbent quarterback is a free agent. Why would the Colts do that? What's going on in Indianapolis? We're going to get to that when we get to the guys that are still left available on the market. I wonder if there's going to be a new face under center for the Colts next year. Why did the Colts do that? What's going on in Indianapolis? I'm starting to read the tea leaves a little bit. And I just wonder, like, would they pay Pierce and pay Daniel Jones at the same time? Or is there another option out there that is guaranteed to be cheap? I don't know. Something to think about. Thanks for tuning in, Michael. Let's go. Appreciate you tuning in as always. Hey, since you're here, as our resident Steelers fan, please sell me on, and honestly, I've already like sold myself on him a little bit. Please tell me how James Pierre is an amazing player and he's like the next Deion Sanders. Please tell me how we got the best player in free agency, right? James Pierre, only Viking signing so far, former Steelers corner. I grinded the tape a little bit when I got home from work, crunched some of the numbers, right? I was like a little bit aware of, him stepping in as a starter for Pittsburgh from week 10 onwards. You got a good James Pierre take, Michael, because I got to say, if he's Flores stamped, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Caden can think of a better excuse talking about my lack of culture. Yeah. Yeah. Probably. Yeah. True. Parker asking, what do I think about Logan Paul challenging NFL players to a boxing match? Yeah, I saw he was going to challenge that Twitter rage baiter, former Chargers D lineman Braden Fajoko. Dude, sure, man. Go ahead. I don't. Yo, Pierre, you want to come out here? Yeah. Sorry. Great song, by the way. Classic. Oh, man. There's nothing special about James Pierre. He's a borderline NPC. But have you considered his PFF numbers? Have you considered his passer rating allowed from week 10 onward? It might only be on like 150 snaps, but have you considered that? Jack kind of likes the Oweh deal with the Commanders. That's crazy because that's what we're talking about next. And I'm going to keep it up honest with you. And I promise I'm not trying to pick a fight with this team. I don't like this signing, to be honest with you. $100 million for Odafe Oweh. Look, he's not a bad player. I think he's definitely much more of a one-trick pony than Jalen Phillips, and that Oweh wins with speed, and he wins just looping around the edge, and he's a good specialized pass rusher, and he really, really cooked when he was in a specialized role with Jesse Minter, right? He's not very stout against the run necessarily, Look, he's a good pass rusher. I think 8 is maybe a little steep for him on this list. $100 million is a lot. I will say, to at least be fair, the Commanders desperately just need to get after the quarterback more, and you could do worse in a way. He's 27. He's improved year by year in the NFL. I do wonder if maybe he capped out this past half season with the Chargers though, and if they're paying for a guy that they're probably not going to get in the Commanders defense, they might be like Dan Quinn for the most part. I know everything is hybrid now, but Dan Quinn more or less still runs just a true 4-3, right? Do we really want Oweh just putting his hand in the dirt on every snap? Do we want him to have to set the edge in the run game necessarily? I don't know. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. I think that this is a much bigger overpay than Jalen Phillips to the Panthers. Or just Jalen Phillips in general. I'm not trying to bring the teams into this, I promise. I know, this is dude, I'm such a parody of myself sometimes. I'm not going to give it an F or anything. I do think there are some people online that are being a little too hard on this deal. I might give it a C. I don't know. They could do worse. They had to do something, right? They had money to burn. They had to do something. I won't kill them too much. It's not my favorite move, though. It is all right. It is all right. Have I considered the eye test? Yeah, that's fair. And you're probably a better authority on that than I am as, someone who watches Steelers games more consistently than me. Yeah. But it's I don't know. Here's what I'll say too, Jack. I think Mafe is a better player. I really do. And he got way less. If I'm the Commanders, if I was going to go after an edge, I would have much rather tried to get Mafe at this deal than Oweh at this deal. I know sometimes there's funny money involved, but $40 million less for Boya Mafe, who I think is a little bit of a better player. I don't know. That's a lot for me personally, but what can you do? K9, I know. Yeah. 8.5 sack season, maybe no. See, if there's reasonable expectations, he's a good pass rush specialist and he gets 8.5 to 10 sacks, I think that's totally valid. I don't think he's getting paid to do that though, and I don't think that's going to be the expectation for him. They're all right, bro. We signed our edge, so now we can draft offense again, right? Save our defense, please. That is what I think is. That's what I worry about. I know Mafe had 2 sacks, but he won a decent amount right. I think he's a little bit better against the run. He was also on a little bit more of a limited snap count. And when he's had snaps more consistently. He's been a little bit more productive, right? I'm with you, Greg. Some of the underlying numbers and just like, watching him, it's like, yeah, he can play. He's nice. I like him. But yeah, I will say, I knew he didn't have like crazy stats. I didn't know he had 2 sacks last year. 2 sacks is not a lot. Let's see. Yeah. But like, he has 9 sacks here, 6 sacks here, and he'll get in the backfield a lot. And he's from the great state of Minnesota. So you get a little boost for that too, don't you know? Oh yeah, don't you know? Yeah, the Bengals have made nice moves. I mean, they're still probably a ways away, right? I saw one NFL writer who was like, the Super Bowl contender that's helped themselves the most is the Cincinnati Bengals. It's like, brother, they haven't made the playoffs in like 3 years. They need to like rebuild. But yeah. K9 to the Chiefs. I like it. They needed a running back. They needed an explosive back. He's a scheme fit with all the zone that they run. Adds just a little bit as a receiver. Not a great receiver, but adds a little bit, right? I like it. You got to get someone to spell Kareem Hunt. You're right. You're right, Sebastian. Casey has had a 1K rusher since 2017. Kareem Hunt. Yeah. They've needed that guy in the backfield. I thought it was going to be ETN. K9 is definitely the better player. 3-year deal up to $45 million. About half of it guaranteed. Not a bad deal, honestly. I kind of like this for Kansas City. This definitely takes him out of the running for Jeremiah Love, like I was alluding to earlier. But you got 2 first-round picks now after the McDuffie trade. You can go BPA at 9 and at 29. I'm starting to see the vision with the Chiefs a little bit again. I think this is a very good signing for Kansas City. This is one of the better signings out there. But it is tough seeing the Super Bowl MVP go out the door, right? And he played some good ball for Seattle. That definitely does have to be tough. Jack is saying he would have rather paid K9 the deal that he got than the Shaheed deal. Yeah, that's valid, right? And what was the final number on the Shaheed deal? Do they even have it on here yet? Hold on. Let me just look it up. Oh, yeah, a little bit of research from a video popping up there. It's coming soon. I recorded it, and I'm editing it, actually. Very excited. 3-year, $51 million. That's a lot, but he's a good player. And he just makes so much sense in that offense. I get what you're saying, though. I get the argument of you'd have rather paid K9 that than Shaheed that. That I get. Hit the LeBron. Ooh. He wasn't starting most of the year, so it makes sense his numbers were down. No, talking about Mafe. Yeah, and Seattle, they have like edge by committee too, right? But he's not like crazy, that's fair to say too. It's not like they got Jared Allen or anything, but all right. David Edwards to the Saints. We'll hit this one quick. Good vet guard. I kind of like what the Saints are building just a little bit. I like that they are continuing to invest in that offensive line. Calvin Banks is pretty good. Eric McCoy's a good center. Kind of like what they're cooking in New Orleans, just a little bit. Mike Evans to the 49ers. Heartbreaking to see him leave Tampa, right? You thought that maybe he would have been a Tampa lifer, true franchise icon. Sucks to see him go, But it really does just feel like the end of an era with Tampa a little bit. Kind of to tie into my coaching stream from a few weeks ago, right? Like with maybe Bowles being on his way out and you've lost all these guys over the past few years and just the team feels like it's getting a little bit older. Jamel Dean right below him, going to the Steelers too, right? But Evans out the door. Another thing where just like you worry about health because when he's out there, he's still a good player. Even at 33 years old, he is that X receiver. He's a great ball winner. He's great down the field, but he also is very underrated as a route runner. That's a very good part of his game that doesn't get talked about a lot. He's more than just, not to like bring this guy back into it, right? But like there are levels to it between like Mike Evans and Alec Pierce. And then I think Evans just has such a more complete game. He's one of those guys that's really good on those outside backside digs, which is a staple of the Shanahan offense, right? You have to imagine the looks that Brandon Ayuk has usually been getting, Evans is going to get now. Really, the only thing to worry about is that hamstring, and I think that's a very valid concern, right? Scary injury, especially for a receiver, especially for a 33-year-old receiver. But When he's been out there, he can play. He can play. He still turned in some good performances last year, too, when he was out there. He obviously lost his 1,000-yard streak. Kind of a bummer, right? But even when he was out there just for a tiny bit, again, the final stats aren't good, but he still had a few games. It's like, okay, this is Mike Evans. I don't know why I can't find his game log. Did they just reorganize the site a little bit? Maybe. We'll get there eventually. But like, look at this Falcons game, right? I think this is a TNF game. There's still maybe a little something in there, but you worry about the pulled pork hamstring a little bit. And also, they've got the electrical radiation by the facility, and so maybe he gets even more injured. But yeah, 33-year-old, by the way, coming off an injured season. Yeah, and what was the final money? Right? What was the money? Very cool how like it's just not in the article. NFL media, what happened to the game I love? Let me just Google it. Wow, 3 years, $60 million. That is a decent amount. $20 million a year. That's a decent amount. Going to be his age 33, 34, and 35 seasons. That is a lot. But I weirdly do think his game is going to age fairly well, just as long as he's healthy. But that is a big if. He's got a little bit more refinement to his game. He does. He's a complete receiver. I just see the vision, though. Evans isolated on the outside, on like the left side, running like a 10-yard in route all day till the cows come home. Schematically, it's a great fit, and they need that outside receiver. Pearsall can be a little bit more of a move guy now. Yeah, let's go, baby. We're cooking. I know. That's fair, though. I did see it, and I saw a tweet about this too, right? Mike Evans won't be wearing 13. He's going to be wearing like number 5 or something. There is a chance he just looks incredibly washed, and like the number 5 Mike Evans 49ers jersey is like an all-time like washed jersey, you know? Oh man, Broke Boy is crazy. I'm getting pocket watched on stream now. I got upgraded from coward to Broke Boy. All right, I didn't even see it too. I saw it. Where did it go? Okay. It's okay, Doc. Thai Express is widely known as the single most fancy restaurant on the planet. Makes sense you haven't been able to go. They had to stop giving it Michelin stars because it wouldn't fit on the plaques anymore. If there's Thai Express lore, I'm not familiar. Also, I think the Giants can be a contender. Hey, I thought I was cooking with that. I can't wait to find the team I'm going to be like unreasonably high on next year. I can't wait. And I'm going to be wrong about him, but I'm so excited. The Alec Pierce dunking stream featuring free agency discussion. Yeah. No, that's true. Get him with Dr. Neil L. Atrache, and we're good. Josh Jobe might lock him up. Yeah, maybe. Trade Trent while they're at it. That is one of the more underrated storylines that's like looming over the offseason is the 49ers might have to trade Trent Williams because they can't afford him. That, I'm not going to lie, they should not do that. I mean, I get like they might have to, but they should not do that. Their offensive line is so bad without him. I don't care how good Kyle is, and he can scheme around it. Nah, bro, you got to have at least one player. All right, now we're starting to get to like, no disrespect to some of these players, but like I'm probably not going to spend 5 minutes talking about Jamel Dean to the Steelers. But Michael's in here, and you know what? We'll hit at least a little bit, right? They lose Pierre. They bring in Jamel Dean. Similar sort of genre of player. All right, makes sense. You bring in a little bit more of a proven vet. Not a bad contract either. 3 years, $36.75 million. Been a good player for a while. All right, sure. Not bad. Yeah, I mean, he had a good year last year too. Probably a career year for him. You know, it's funny because there was a time where he was like almost seen on the roster bubble a little bit in Tampa, but he really played well last year. Yeah, he had some clutch moments too. Cade Otton back with the Bucks makes sense. Yeah, good player. Solid all-around player. Jamel Dean, let's go. No, they're not. No, they're not, Jack. You're trolling, bro. Let me just refresh. I have on my third monitor, I have the ESPN like live free agency tracker just to like see if anything else happens. Titans got Josh Williams. Nah, you're trolling. Nice try, Jack. Nice try. You almost got me. Trey Hendrickson. That'd be a very Cowboys thing to do, though, wouldn't it? Loki, I think he might receive a contract that doesn't age well. Yeah. That's right. Patrick Graham in Pittsburgh. I do like that a lot. I do like Patrick Graham in Pittsburgh a lot. All right. Isaiah Likely to the Giants. I think Eagle Eyes was saying, sounds like it's going to be the Giants again. Probably not, but I will be high on their defense again. They made a really under the radar signing. I love the Ardarius Washington signing for the Giants. Good player. Lost season due to injury last year, but man, he was a baller. He's got that familiarity with Harbaugh too. I do like that signing a lot, Ardarius Washington. I'm not the biggest fan of the Isaiah Likely signing. I think he's not necessarily my cup of tea as a tight end. I think he's a lot better as a complementary piece, right? He's not necessarily a great blocker. He is really good as a downfield receiver. I do like him as that. He's good with the ball in his hands, but I don't think he's necessarily a full-time starting tight end. I would feel much better if they had another guy in the room, like a Mark Andrews when he was with Baltimore, right? 3 for $40 million can be up to 47.5. That's a lot. That's a lot for a guy who I think should be a little bit more of a limited player. I honestly think the role that Likely played the past 2 seasons with Baltimore, that is like best case scenario for him. I think this is a little bit of an overpay. This isn't necessarily my favorite move, but maybe the Giants aren't done at the tight end position. It's not my favorite move, though. Steelers got Rico Dowdle. They did like that. Oh, my gosh. They got someone else, too. Who am I thinking? Oh, well, they got Michael Pittman in a trade. I do like that a lot. Michael Pittman and not George Pickens, good Lord. Michael Pittman and DK Metcalf, that's a great wide receiver duo right there. Those two guys complement each other really well. They kind of fill the roles that each other can't do. I do like that a lot for the Steelers. What, am I going to spill the beans on my next vid? Well, I dropped a little teaser. Let's just say Kolschi is shaking in their boots. Not actually, but like, it's coming out very soon. That's what I'll say. And it's about the NFL walking a very fine line. And I'm going to address this in the video too. I've kind of hinted at it. Here's what I'll say. I'm not necessarily against gambling per se. And as I'm sure many of you know, and I've bet on sports before, I'm not here to like shake my fist and say, if you gamble, you're a bad person and awful. Because one, that'd be hypocritical. And two, I don't necessarily believe that. But the NFL is playing a very dangerous game with what they're doing right now. And it is a deep dive. It's not quite investigative journalism. I'm not like that serious of a person, But it's a little different from previous videos. And then after that, we're back to more regularly scheduled programming. The video after that more or less has to do with how the league has changed since the eyebrow bet between Colin Kaepernick and Russell Wilson, which we'll get into. That's a fun video too, but I've wanted to make this one for a minute. Just a little sidebar there. Wan'Dale Robinson to the Titans, dude. This was the most obvious deal out there, right? Wan'Dale Robinson back with Brian Daboll. I believe this was the first signing that was announced too, right? Like the first signing of all free agency. It is a lot of, I'm sorry, $78 million for 4 years. That's a lot of money for Wan'Dale Robinson, man. I don't know, but it's just so funny. How is the first signing? It's like, yeah, that makes sense. Illuminor to the Giants. Nice. Talked about that a little bit. Really just stepping up year by year by year. I know he's 31, but he's a good, dependable right tackle. Not a lot of those in the league right now. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Let's go. ETN to the Saints. Maybe another slight overpay. I mean, some of these deals, it's like, holy crap, dude. Like, that's a lot of money. There's the Cade Mays signing. I don't know. Is there any signings that you guys in chat want me to talk about? I feel like I've just been like running the show the whole time, just like going through. Are there any signings in particular that chat would like me to go over? Because I'm all ears. I'm down to take requests. I'm about to pivot to maybe some of the guys available and talk about that for a little bit. But we can always go back and forth. But maybe I haven't talked about your team yet. Maybe there's just like an under-the-radar signing that you really want me to hit. I'm scrolling through right now. I mean, I could like talk about this one a little bit. I already kind of did. I like it. Tua to the Falcons is crazy. Talk about the Vikings signings. Well, I think plural is not accurate right now. I mean, we like re-signed a few guys. I'll talk about the Vikings though. There's another move that we made this morning that made me a very happy man when I woke up. Vikings signings. Let's see. But yeah, there's a James Pierre deal too. My James Pierre take is in Flores we trust. And also, on a very limited sample size, PFF said he was good. And while I normally don't just like ascribe to PFF grades, I'm going to choose to believe it this time around because it's convenient for my personal feelings. So, there you have it. Oh yeah, Tungo is a good signing for the Chiefs. I do like that. They really missed Tershawn Wharton last year. Nice to get a little bit more beef up the middle. I do like that a lot. We'll hit Kobe Bryant too. I like kind of hinted at him in passing, but we can talk. That's one of my favorite signings. I think that was a great move for the Bears. Man, there's just so much to talk about. I'm beaming right now. I'm like a kid in a candy shop. I gotta say, and you know what? Not to pat myself on the back, but shout out me for being a good employee. So at my job, right, as an RBT, I am not allowed to be on my phone while I'm with a client. Obviously, right? Unless you're like checking our messaging app and like communicating with like your coworkers or supervisors or whatever, you know. So let me tell you, I worked today from 9 to 3:30, did not have a break. And so when the free agency window opened, I straight up, like, I could not be on my phone. And I was not on my phone. I resisted the temptation to check. As soon as I went into work this morning, I did not know what happened until I got out at 3:30. And let me tell you, as soon as I got out, I was just scrolling. I'm like, oh my gosh, Jalen Phillips, let's go. You know, stuff like that. But man, that was tough. That was tough. Back when I was at the paper, I'm not going to lie. There's no way that anyone from the newspaper I used to work at is watching this. Dude, when I was at the paper, dude, I was on my phone all the time. I was on ESPN all the time, right? Constantly staying and tapped in with the NFL, you know? Dude, when like free agency happened last year at my job, dude, I guess it was 2 years ago. I was not working. But this year I was. I know, you poor thing, right? Oh, yes, the Trey Hendrickson to the boys deal that definitely happened and is definitely real. Sebastian's going to head out. Appreciate you tuning in, man. It was good to have you back in here. Let's go. Let's go. Oh, we'll hit the Raiders. I mean, dude, there's just so much, right? There's like, what, 8 or 9 players that the Raiders have signed? All right. Let's talk about the Vikings, and then maybe we'll get to some of the other moves too. And then we'll get to some of the guys that are still available here. We're not even an hour in yet. This is awesome. All right. So what I was alluding to earlier, this made me a very happy man when I woke up this morning. The other guy that I kind of shouted out last week as a potential value add in free agency, sneaky value guy that is a really good player and is probably going to be undervalued. Eric Wilson, off-ball linebacker. Vikings bringing him back. This is his second stint with the Vikings. Also had a pretty good run in Green Bay. Had a career year last year. Unbelievable fit with Brian Flores. One of the best blitzing linebackers in the NFL. I mean, man, I think just like that Lions game, that first Lions game, the infamous 9 game, right? The one where the Vikings beat him in Detroit. The true star of that game was Eric Wilson, just wrecking shop every third down, calling a blitz, and I love this dude, but Jahmyr Gibbs just getting his teeth kicked in on every third down, having to go up against Eric Wilson, player of the game in that game. Compliments Blake Cashman so well. Cashman is kind of the side-to-side coverage guy. Wilson plays downhill. He blitzes. Maybe a slight overpay. 3 years, $22.5 million is a lot for a guy who's in his 30s. Sure, he turns 32 when the season starts. I don't care. He was so good. It's nice to see us not cut costs on defense for once. And he was a really good player. And he's been a good player for a while. This is not just like a one-year wonder. He was good with Green Bay too. I love this. Love this, love this, love this. And then James Pierre. I mean, this is our only signing so far. I mean, we don't have money, right? That is the reality of the situation. We might be trading Jonathan Grenard, which I think is stupid, but whatever. We might have to, Good thing we have a real GM right now, right? But yeah, James Pierre, just a depth piece for corner, right? I honestly hope that this means we don't draft a corner in the first round, because Flores has proven now, like, if you give him even just like decent corners, he can make it work on defense. Our defensive scheme really isn't dependent on high-level corner play. If it's just James Pierre, Byron Murphy, and Isaiah Rogers, honestly, I'm fine with that. I think we can totally make that work. I would rather we use our 18th overall pick on something else. I'm so sick of taking corners in the first round, and I know we haven't done it in a while, but every year, man, we always get mocked to take a corner, because when we had Mike Zimmer, he was like, you will take a defensive player, Rick Spielman, or I will drop your family over an active volcano. Like, every year, it's always, guys, the Vikings are taking a corner, and I'm glad that we haven't. We have James Pierre. It's okay. It's fine. Pierre, Murphy, and Rogers is fine. That's all we need. Let's get some beef. Let's get some beef. And maybe a center. Yeah, because right now, Funky Kong is that center for us. But yeah, those are the Vikings moves. I really hope we don't trade Jonathan Grenard. I get that maybe he wants a raise. I get that, like, we maybe need to make stuff work with the cap. But also, did we really need to bring back TJ Hawkinson? It's just kind of crazy how Kwesi, the terrible, awful drafter, and yet if we traded Jonathan Grenard, we're making a big bet and doubling down on Dallas Turner, who was drafted by the terrible, awful drafter. I really hope we don't trade him. And I really hope if we do trade him, if it really comes to that we get a decent return. Reports are saying he would probably fetch a day 2 pick. He's 28. He's a borderline top 10 edge. I know his numbers were down a little bit last year, but he dealt with injuries some. And again, like, underlying numbers tell a better story than maybe the sacks do. Back-to-back 12-sack seasons before that. Consistently winning around the edge. Phenomenal pass rusher. Also pretty good against the run, too. He's a really good player. And it's like there's no reason to trade him. There's other ways to make the cap work. We could have just gotten rid of TJ Hawkinson, but nope. Supreme Leader KOC demands that 80% of the cap go into the offense, so maybe we can finally have a unit crack top 12 in EPA. I just had to, we're not talking about that anymore. But I was listening to the Athletic Football podcast this morning at the gym, and Robert Mays was saying, like, Jonathan Grenard to the Commanders for a 3rd-round pick is like, dog, I'm sorry. If we only got a 3rd for Jonathan Grenard after Max Crosby got 2 firsts, I get there's levels to this, and Crosby's a better player, but Crosby to get 2 firsts and Grenard would get only a 3rd, I would quit my job and make it my life mission to, like, get the Wilfs to sell the team and to have everyone financially boycott the Minnesota Vikings. So yeah, don't do it. But yeah, Funky Kong, 3-year, $48 million at center. I'd take it. He's got that 99 speed. Hey, Funky Kong on the Flame Runner. That's a mobile center right there, getting him out in space. Come on now, let's go. Also, speaking of Mario Kart, and Jack, I'm going to have to be in communication with you over this. As I've been planning out my streams, let's just say this. Mario Kart and Ball Talk, Part 3, early June. Let's go. We'll be in communication. We'll be in touch. Please trade Grenard to the Hawks. I mean, as a neutral football enjoyer, that would be such a sick move, dude. He would be unbelievable there. Oh, my Lord. I mean, if you're Seattle, you got to try, right? Hey, you know what? Give us your 1st, and let's do it. I'll take a 1st, whatever. I'll take the 32nd overall pick. Let's talk. We'll take your 1st. We'll take it off your hands. And yes, I do, Sports Gambler. I do. We got another ball knower in chat talking about CTGP Revolution. Let's go. Bang. Yeah, I got it. Of course I got it, dude. Let's go. Nakobe Dean to the Raiders is fun. Let's pull up the Raiders signings here. We can talk about that Raiders free agent signings. I spelled it wrong. It's chill. That's the linebacker move that I do like for the Raiders. That's what I'll say. We talked about Linderbaum. Nakobe Dean, that is fun. He's battled injuries, as they're saying, but when he's been out there, he's flashed a lot. A little bit of an undersized guy, but can play in coverage. Good blitzer, too. Plays above his size, but you just have the durability concerns that you can tie into with the size issues. But I do like that. Quay Walker, it's a swing. It's a swing. He's been a bit of a head case. He's another one of those just like point him at the ball and be like, you go, right? Maybe played a little bit better to close out last season, but I don't know. This is maybe a little bit more projection and just like betting on talent or like, wow, we had him high in the draft on our draft boards back in the day, I don't know. Malcolm Kuntz back to the Raiders, re-signed. Bit of a disappointing year for him last year. I've always thought he was a little bit underrated. Had that lost season in 2024 due to injury, but even with the injury baked in, it was a little underwhelming last year. I don't know. No one's given a 1 for Grenard. See, probably not, and I think I just have to accept that, right? But I mean, I might argue, just looking at the edge market right now, why not? Why would the Seahawks not give the 32nd overall pick for Jonathan Grenard when looking at the edge market right now? What else are you going to do? Would you rather have Jonathan Grenard or Trey Hendrickson for the next 3 years, right? Maybe you have to give up a first for that luxury, but hey, Max Crosby just got 2 1s, So why can't Grenard get half of that? Why can't Grenard get half of a trade package that Crosby fetched? He's not half as good, Maybe that's not the perfect comparison, but you know what I'm saying. Why not? He's a good player. Why not? Why can't a Pro Bowl edge who's 28 years old get 1 first-round pick, He is a national champion. He's also done some stuff, yeah. Eagle Eyes has Retro Rewind. Yeah, dude, a lot of people rocking with Retro Rewind these days, but you know what? I respect it. I still got to, look into that. I've been saying that for 2 years now, but Kwity Paye, sure, he's fine. He's a body, It's so disrespectful. You got to bring in guys and get more depth, especially after losing Max Crosby. Honestly, sure. Eric Stokes, back of there, fine. The Naylor move I do like, though. I do like the Jalen Naylor signing a lot. He's a good player. But yeah, man, those are the Raiders signings. Is there anyone else in chat that was talking what they might want to see? Sports Gambler is saying as a Pats fan that losing Tunga really hurt. Yeah, fun player, right? Put him in the backfield sometimes. And I'm just such a sucker for beef up the middle, especially with how NFL offenses are trending more towards running the ball a little bit. Good signing for the Chiefs. I do like that. I like their offseason. We'll hit Kobe Bryant. We'll hit Kobe Bryant, and then I think we'll head to some of the available guys. No one is trading a first for an edge rusher fresh off a 3-sack season. Probably. I mean, we both know he's better than that, right? I don't know. We both know he's not like a 3-sack player, but no, that's what people would say in negotiations, and that's fair. What can you really say to that if you're the Vikings, right? No, bro, I promise. Look at his pressure numbers, Yeah. Fine. We'll take a second, I guess. Fine. We're going to leave the offseason with our tails tucked between our legs. Fine. No, but you're probably right. You guys are bringing a level of rationality when discussing my favorite team that I try to avoid from time to time. You know what? It's chill, though. It is what it is. Skull! Dude, I'm low-key on the verge of a Vikings-related nervous breakdown. I'm not going to lie. I'm, as you could probably tell based off of how I've been acting on these streams recently, I am not fully on board with what we're doing right now. What is the direction? Are we rebuilding or are we still trying to win right now? What exactly are we doing? Because I'm getting a little bit of both based off just some of the moves that we've made. Are we trying or not this year? I can't really tell. maybe a soft rebuild, I guess, because we got to give this regime just the longest leash ever, I suppose. But Sports Gambler saying we're going to have to hop on CTGP. He's been messing people up with the Grumble Volcano Rock Ultra, the Rock Ultra. Let's go, dude. I love hearing that. You know what? Maybe for those that are so inclined, little Dr. Pigskin Discord Mario Kart night or something. There you go. Hop ship to the Seahawks. Just do it. Yeah, maybe he'll just like ditch us. Oh, you're talking about me. I see. No, I can't do it. I can't do it, man. I'm in too deep. I'm delusional. Mike McDonald. Someone say Mike McCarthy. I appreciated that earlier too, Michael. KOC's gonna have to change his address. Kevin O'Connell lives at 1234 blah 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 blah. I don't know his address. I was gonna try and make up a fake address. Kevin O'Connell gets doxxed by a YouTuber. I'm sorry, Kevin. If we make the playoffs, I'll forgive everything. All right, we'll hit Kobe Bryant. We'll talk about the Rams moves at corner because it wouldn't be a Dr. Pigskin stream without that. And then we will pivot to some of the guys still out there. And I really want to have the Kyler Murray discussion. I'm excited for that too because I've got a Kyler take. But Kobe Bryant to the Bears. Honestly think this is one of the best moves of free agency. 3 years, $40 million. Pretty good bargain, all things considered, especially when you see Brian Cook immediately get paid just a tiny bit more like an hour later. And I think Bryant's a much better player than Cook. And what I really like about Kobe Bryant is his versatility, right? And he really came into his own as a safety. And I have to imagine that's primarily what he's going to play for the Bears going forward with how good he was there last year. But in a pinch, if you need to, he has experience at corner too, right? This Bears secondary, just a lot of question marks, a lot of stuff up in the air, not exactly flush with talent. There is something to be said about having a guy that can wear all these different hats for your secondary and step into all these different roles. Let's see, if deal with a few injuries, middle of the season. All right, cool. We can have Bryant slide in at corner. Maybe not the dream scenario, but it's nice to have. He really came into his own this past season, though, and he's really blossomed as a safety. Yeah, I love this move a lot. I don't remember if Byard is a free agent or not, but either way, like you got to find a contingency plan for that with Byard's age and everything, and maybe getting a little lucky with turnovers last year, dare I say. So this was nice. I really did like this for the Bears. I like them addressing the defense a little bit. You can't just look at the defense and be like, oh, we'll get that many takeaways next year too. You got to bring in more talent. Missed out on Max Crosby. That's a bummer, right? Also, Drew Dahlman retiring was kind of crazy, but at least you brought in another center at this point. It's not Linderbaum, but fine, right? But yeah, I do like this move. Tough loss for the Seahawks, but you have to imagine Mike McDonald, is going to be ready to churn out the next safety, right? So they'll be good. They'll be good. Cows Anonymous is in here. Appreciate you tuning in. They do have a corner over 6 feet tall. It's funny. They have a type. They like their short corners, right? Yeah, but let's get a little bit of length in there, right? Father number 3 doxed by Dr. Pigskin is crazy. Yeah, I really have. Well, I won't say I've doxed either of our fathers. I did drop names, though, which is crazy. Yeah, it's borderline doxing. Yeah, I'm going to stop talking. All right. Here we go. Let's talk about the Rams real quick, because why not? Hey, come on now. They're going to be pretty nice next year, won't they? This was a big-time trade that went down this past week. There are rumblings about it for a while. Trent McDuffie to the Rams. 4 draft picks. Lot to give up. I like this trade a lot for both teams. I really do. I think if you're the Chiefs, it makes sense to recoup some value, get a few draft picks coming in, and not have to shell out a big contract for McDuffie, who's a good player, but you could probably spend that money elsewhere as you kind of soft rebuild a little bit. I think this is a good pivot point for the Kansas City Chiefs defense. I like this move a lot for the Chiefs. And for the Rams, I mean, yes, maybe the contract is a bit much, but also he is going to be such a good fit in this defense, playing that star role that Jalen Ramsey kind of made famous for them a few years ago, right? Hybrid slot nickel corner. he can do it all, right? He can play downhill. He can muddy things up in the run game or in the screen game. He can play deep as a safety if you need him to. He can man up in the slot. He plays with an attitude. He is a premier player at what is becoming an increasingly important role as a slot defender, which you can classify as a corner or as a safety, right? Just guarding that intermediate middle area of the field and then being able to come downhill. I know, I'm glazing the Rams again, but come on, dude. Like, he's good. He's good, He's good. It is a lot of money. It is. But if you're the Rams, do you really care what his cap hit in 2029 is going to be? No, you're trying to win the Super Bowl this next year. This patches up the biggest weakness on their roster. And then you get Jalen Watson as well to bring it on the outside. Those two have familiarity with each other. All of a sudden, if you're the Rams, right, you gave up a first, but you kept the 12th overall pick. You are able to go BPA. You could even get crazy with it and go receiver. Maybe if Lemon or Tate is there, you swing there and just try and hit a home run. I mean, what? This might be stupid. Like, what if they went like Jeremiah Love at 12 if he was there, right? You are wide open to go BPA. It just makes so much sense. Biggest weakness by far for the Rams defense was secondary. They're able to kind of mitigate with how sick their pass rush is, their defensive front. Now you instantly upgrade it. Yeah, this is an awesome move. I love this move so much, right? Of course I do, but come on, it is a good move. It is a good move. You could call it nickelback. He plays slot or he plays safety a little bit. Let me see. Star position football. Let me see if I can find a technical definition for it. I'm not going to use that because that's wrong and also it burns rainforests. Nick Saban's star position. Oh, here we go. Roll Tide subreddit. Okay. Saban, I guess Minka Fitzpatrick maybe kind of pioneered it. They also did that with Brian Branch a little bit. It's just essentially a fifth defensive back, nickel, safety, maybe even a little bit of off-ball linebacker. But yeah, you see it in college a lot more, but you've been seeing it pop up in the NFL some. This is going to be Trent McDuffie with the Rams. He was already kind of with that with the Chiefs, but I think it'll be even more so with the Rams. He played a surprising amount of outside corner for the Chiefs, especially this past year, right? It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Fairs, they have the 13th pick. Fairs, you got me there. You'd think I'd know more about my favorite team. Is Connor Griffin going to take over baseball? And why is the answer yes? Truth. Hey, he's going to take over baseball. Paul Skeens is going to stay forever. Let's go. Sports Gambler saying, I just need to make sure the nickelback isn't the same as slot corner. I mean, it more or less is, right? So it's essentially called a nickelback, right? Because you come out in a nickel defense because you have 5 defensive backs, right? 5 cents to a nickel. And typically, that fifth defensive back is usually the slot corner. Now, as we've seen over the past few years, some more teams will try and get weird, and instead it's 3 safeties, right? But it's a nickel defense, 5 defensive backs. Usually that fifth extra defensive back is a slot corner. So that's at least my understanding of it. Nick Saban probably could explain it better than I could. But you know what? Nick Saban ain't going live right now at 9:19 on a Monday night, so I've got him beat there at least. Nick Saban doesn't understand the math behind going forward on 4th down. Jack is saying, apparently the Mike Evans contract is 3 years, $42 million with incentives to make more. Now I like it less. 3 years, $42 million with incentives. That's not bad. All right, let's see who's still available. Best guy still available, for sure, right? Well, I mean, you could argue like Hendrickson or Lloyd is better, but biggest name still available. One to watch and also going to be a huge bargain. Kyler Murray, who technically isn't quite available yet because he hasn't officially been released by the Cardinals. This is one deal that we actually are going to have to wait until the new league year on Wednesday to happen. But the Cardinals are going to release him, right? It's kind of been an up and down career for him, but the talent has always been obvious. But the biggest thing that you get here, the biggest asset out of this, is you get that sweet, sweet vet minimum contract. The same thing that Tua Tagovailoa is going to be on with the Falcons, right? With the offset language in Kyler's contract, The Cardinals are going to be on the hook for all of his guaranteed money. And so whatever team he goes to can pay him the vet minimum. He's getting his bag either way. And it makes sense for him to, take that pay cut and help out his new team while still getting paid from his other team. We also saw this with Russell Wilson with the Steelers last year too, right? So even if you don't think Kyler Murray is like that great of a quarterback or whatever, right? I think there's differing opinions on where exactly he comes in on your QB rankings. I might say he's like 16, but with upside, but also downside. He can be a frustrating player at times. Regardless, getting a quarterback of that caliber for $1.5 million is just an insane bargain. Now, I think the team that like everyone is linking him with right now is the Vikings. And I think that makes sense for the most part because the Vikings feel like at least they could try and tell you that they're a quarterback away. He's the most talented quarterback out there. I think he's better than Malik Willis. I think he's the best quarterback available this offseason, right? And especially like looking at the draft. It's not like the Vikings can draft a guy. And there's just been very clear effort from like this Vikings organization with what's been leaked and what's been said of like, yeah, JJ McCarthy is as dumb as rocks. He's bad, unplayable. I can't believe he screwed up our offense like this. He's done forever, I don't know. So that I think is the obvious fit. And as a Vikings fan, I would be okay with it because, again, he's the most talented guy out there. You get him on that bargain. Sure, why not, right? Maybe we can make this work. It is fair to say I don't think he's a schematic fit at all. He's not really comfortable playing under center, hanging in the pocket, throwing over the middle of the field, all the bread and butter of this offense. And as I've said many, many times, KOC, God bless him, he is very stubborn when it comes to his offense. He has not tweaked his offense at all for like 4 years now. He would have to if Kyler came in, right? But it's like, are we necessarily willing to do that when our entire team is built to play a certain way and Kyler doesn't fit that, It would be cool if we could like marry the two and like make it work, right? That would be cool. Maybe we work out of the pistol a little bit more and so we can still like have the illusion of being under center and set up those under center runs and play actions while Kyler still gets the illusion of being in shotgun, right? We've seen other teams do that before. But it would be an off-season makeover for this offensive playbook should Kyler become the Vikings quarterback. Addison did say 9 was going to be star. I did see that too. Some of the guys are still going to bat for him, but man, there's been a lot coming out from Winter Park. I don't even think that's where there's been a lot coming out from TCO, the Vikings facility, of just stuff, But I did see that today. Maybe that's not nothing. I like where your head is at, sports gambler. To tie into what I was saying earlier, right? The Colts just paid a lot of money for Alec Pierce when they also have their incumbent quarterback who would be due to get a lot of money should he get an extension from the Colts. Why would they be so comfortable paying that much? Why would they be comfortable with essentially sinking in like $80 million combined between Daniel Jones and Alec Pierce? Well, what if they don't? What if they get a better player on a much cheaper deal, guaranteed vet minimum deal, and also, honestly, a much better fit in the offense with the way Shane Steichen runs so much out of shotgun and the vertical offense and how he's done so much with running quarterbacks in the past with Richardson and Jalen Hurts. He's a great fit in the Colts offense. He really is. And I think if you compare situations, there have been a lot of people saying, well, like the Vikings are just clearly the best situation. And with money not really being a factor, Kyler just has to factor in situation the most. And the Vikings slam dunk best situation. Are they really? I don't know. Because if you compare the two offenses, right? Both have offensive minded head coaches, both well-respected guys. But I think Steichen's scheme fits Murray a lot more, and I think they'd be a much better fit on that front. They also have a star back in the backfield in Jonathan Taylor. You could start to envision a very good running game going with that. They did lose Pittman, and I've been dunking on the Pierce signing, but still, Pierce, Josh Downs, Tyler Warren, that's a nice group of pass catchers, and I think the line is a little better. The Colts might just be the better situation, too. Aside from the schematic fit, Like, that is a pretty good situation to walk into. I am pivoting. I think Kyler Murray is going to be a Colt. I really do. Give me Kyler to the Colts. I think that's a great fit. It makes sense for both sides. I think Kyler Murray, come at the very latest Thursday, Wednesday or Thursday, he is going to sign with the Indianapolis Colts. That is my prediction. What do you feel in chat? What are you guys thinking? Philly Mike OG is in here. Appreciate you tuning in. Breaking news, the Giants have signed Trey Hendrickson per Adam Schefter and Bleacher Report. Well, let's take a look at the validity of this. I've been pranked before. That's what I'll say. If this is a prank, this is not the first time this has happened. But as I will always say to Jack or Game Solved when they try and pull one over me, you are at least getting me to Google, and that enough should be a win for you. Yeah. Yeah, you got me. Yeah. Nope. Nope. Oh well. He's not anywhere yet, Hendrickson. I am interested to see where he goes. I honestly kind of typecasted him to the Commanders a little bit. Commanders made their big move for Oweh, so I don't think he's going to go there necessarily. I mean, honestly, the Cowboys do kind of make sense, but they also did just bring in Rashawn Gary, and I like Donovan Ezeraku a lot. I'm trying to think of who else could use a mercenary edge, just someone that could play they just like a team that's close but just needs to get over the hump a little bit. Maybe the Bears, honestly. I wouldn't mind the Bears taking a swing on him. Again, this isn't a long-term investment, and maybe you say the Bears aren't quite win now enough to make a move like that. But they still got Caleb on that rookie deal, so maybe now's the time to act. I could see Trey Hendrickson with the Bears. Also, I believe he's got that connection with Dennis Allen, right? Dennis Allen they overlapped in New Orleans for a little bit. I like that. Trey Hendrickson to the Bears. I kind of like that. I've talked myself into that. Yeah, Shaheed is not available. This has not been updated. Let's see if I refresh if he's still there. He's gone now. Okay, he's gone now. Yeah. All right. Shaheed is gone now, but I do like Hendrickson to the Bears, perhaps. Now, they might have to get a little creative with the money. They're not flush with cash necessarily right now, but they could make it work. Teams always find a way to make it work. We had almost the same contract. Oh, the Trey Hendrickson, yeah. I did positively reinforce it. I know. Bad by me, right? That's just bad ABAing by me. Devin Lloyd is still out there. That one surprises me a little bit too. Seeing some of these other linebackers get paid before Devin Lloyd, when I think he is the best one available. Maybe there's just a discrepancy in how much he and his camp are asking for right now. AVT is still out there. Selfishly, I want him to go back to the Jets. Another guy who's really good. You just worry about the health a little bit, right? Dobbs is still out there. Good, underrated wide receiver. Rest in peace, the dream to the Raiders. I think, was it Jack? You might have mentioned in chat maybe the Browns for Dobbs. I wouldn't hate that. Caden Ellis. If the Vikings didn't bring back Eric Wilson, Caden Ellis would have been a guy I would like to see them go after. Good blitzing linebacker, good downhill backer. And Jack, you were saying in chat too, curious where Reek Woolen goes. Oh, maybe the Bears. I mean, I'm just spitballing here. Maybe the Bears. I don't know. Who would be willing to take a risk? That'd be a very Eagles thing to do. Bring in Reek Woolen. That'd be an Eagles thing to do. Okay, this one I actually... No. 4 years, $78 million. No, this can't be... There's no way he got paid that much. Unfortunately, I'm going to positively reinforce it. That's not real. Come on, how do I keep falling for this? That is too much money for Deshaun Wright. That is too much. There's no way. Unless you're really on the beat of Deshaun Wright and you beat Google to the punch. Let me just check Twitter real quick too. Again, you're getting me to look, and that should be enough of a victory for you. Yeah. I don't think that's real, unfortunately. All right, man. You got me again. Dude, I mean, you could just do this every time, I guess, right? Because, like, what if it's right? What if it's real? Then I have to get the scoop, you know? It was like 4 years, 78 million. Very, very Dominique Rogers Cromartie Wikipedia page coded, which I think I've told that story before. If you know, you know. That was an awesome one. That was an awesome one. Anyways, yeah, I fell for it again, unfortunately. That's cool. Leo Chenal, want to see him go to the Jets. I'm still like cautiously optimistic about the Jets. I think Chenal's a little undervalued here. He's not to just like say, oh, Wisconsin linebacker, so he's just like Zach Bond, but like he's very Zach Bond coded in how he can play on the edge, and he's a good blitzer, and he's good at playing the run. He's a hard hitter. He's only 25. He's a really good player. Always was in a little bit of a limited role with Kansas City. I don't think they're going to bring him back. Money's just a little bit too tight. That's fair. That's a fair question to pose. Can he play more than 500 snaps? I'd like to see him on the Jets. No, I'm not. I'm not even going to Google that one, Jack. No. I'm not even going to Google that one. Nice try. Elton Jenkins. That was kind of something I was hinting at earlier on in the show. Got cut by the Packers. Did have a bit of a down year. He moved to center this past year, but was a very good guard for a very long time. Also has played tackle a little bit. Any team that needs interior offensive line, Elton Jenkins is a name to watch. You wonder if maybe you can buy the dip on him a little bit. Calais Campbell. Hey. Get him back on the Cardinals. He's still kind of good, honestly. Oh, okay. You know what? One other thing I'll get to too, because here's the thing: if the Vikings do miss out on Kyler, or if they just choose not to pursue him or whatever, it would probably be one of these two guys that would come in at quarterback, and there would be a competition of sorts between them and JJ McCarthy. I think I like Geno a little bit more than Kirk. I think he's a little bit better of a player still, and I wouldn't hate buying the dip on Geno. Son. Oh, thank you, Woj, for the accurate report. 8 years, $900 million. Deshaun Watson, first ever $1 billion contract. But yeah. And there's been a lot of smoke between Geno and the Vikings. I do think he's a much better scheme fit. I still believe just a little bit. The Raiders were so bad, it's not all Geno's fault. A lot of it was. He was not great last year, but maybe we could buy the dip. And it's like, okay, JJ, beat out Geno. If you can't, you're cooked. But also, if Geno just takes the job by the horns, that might be cool too. But it would probably be one of these two guys. Obviously, you've got the familiarity with Kirk. I've talked about this dude enough. We don't need to get into that. Aaron Rodgers is technically a free agent. That's true too. Kind of an underrated thing. You have to imagine he'll be back with the Steelers, though, especially with McCarthy there. I think it's so funny that at the end, they're going to end up together. Kevin Zeitler, classic. Just give him a 1-year deal, and he'll give you, like, good play at right guard. Sure. Yeah, man. It's a solid class, though. Yeah, Rico Dowdle and Malcolm Kuntz aren't available. Another guy I might not hate buying the dip on is Darren Waller. He was fun for the Dolphins last year. Hargrave got cut. Cool. He was fine. He was a little less than fine, maybe. But, yeah. That is the free agent class. Those are some of the guys that are still left. We got to hit some of the big signings here. Sports Gamblers saying the Patriots really need to get Jenkins. Jared Wilson moves back to center. Otherwise, we might have to draft another left tackle because the Pats front office didn't listen to the warnings about Will Campbell. It is going to be interesting to see how this Patriots offensive line shakes out a little bit, right? I mean, looking at, does Will Campbell kick inside to guard maybe, especially after the Super Bowl and the narratives are really intensifying around him, right? You lose out on you get rid of Garrett Bradbury, so now you're looking at most likely kicking Wilson inside unless you really like him at guard and then you find a new center. Jenkins would be a nice fit for the Patriots, though, with that versatility across the line. You could just kind of plug and play him wherever. Just based off how last year went, I think if you're the Pats, you would probably prefer Jenkins didn't play center, just because I feel like even though he's capable of playing center, that is pretty clearly his worst position. You would feel much better if he was at guard or tackle for the Pats, right? But I do like that. That's like, Patriots haven't made a lot of noise so far. That could be one move that I could get on board with. You do have to improve the offensive line. I mean, it just got manhandled in the Super Bowl, right? There's some parts of the team that you feel really good about, and maybe the Patriots regress a little bit, but there's an easy way to maybe mitigate some of that. Improve the offensive line. Offensive line, offensive line, offensive line. Yeah, Will Campbell, poor guy. Dude, he honestly got rocked like all playoffs. Like, I remember that Broncos game too. Nick Bonito was just frying him. He was all right as a rookie, but man, once he went up against some of the big boys, he did not have a chance. Poor guy. He was out on an island against some good players, and he was a rookie with short arms that got worked. But anyways, that's all I've got for you guys here tonight. This was a fun stream. This was a blast. I appreciate you guys. As always, man, I've been grinding on my video. It's coming very, very soon. You know what? Shout out to the real ones that have stuck around. Here's a little treat. I'm just going to do a little inside baseball right here. I'm going to pop the hood and give you just a little quick sneak peek on what we're looking at here as far as my upcoming video and kind of just like the process and like how close we are, yeah, man, let me find a frame that doesn't like screw up too much, but oh shoot, hold on. But you know what, we'll give just like a little sneak peek before we sign off here, but let me switch things over. This is my Premiere Pro timeline, as I think I might have, this was a while ago last time I showed Premiere Pro timelines, but for those that care, the yellow, those are the parts that are already done because I have stuff off on screen. The non-yellow parts, right, those are voiceovers that I haven't quite put clips in for yet, but this is what we're working with, man. We're getting there. We're moving along. Shout out Matthew Stafford, got the backwards hat on. It's going to be ready very soon, and I'm very excited, and I can't wait. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Again, as always, thank you, Jack, for saying great stream. That always means a lot. Free agency is here. We'll have more to talk about next week. I'm sure we will. Caden and I have something very fun planned for next week. It's a little bit of a switch up. Well, it's something we did last year around this time, too. We will also hit the news and like talk ball, but we've got a fun little game challenge thing that we're bringing back from last year that's going to be next Monday's stream. Super excited for that. Keep your eyes peeled in Discord or with the community post and all that good stuff. But you guys all take care. Have a good night. We'll see what happens with these quarterbacks and everyone that's still lurking out in the market. We'll have more to talk about next week. But until then, y'all take care. Have a good night. The doctor is out. Appreciate you.